Hello everybody, my name is Alex and welcome to another Civilization 6 video. Today we are going to talk about something which will separate myself as a British person from my American viewers, because this is the time where you claimed your independence from us. Now I'm joking, it's all history, isn't it? But we are today looking at the American Revolution, or from a British point of view, the American War of Independence, because in history we like to give things two names. We're going to give a bit of history on the subject, so kind of what happened, a little bit, and then we're going to talk about why it would be an immense scenario in Civ 6 and how it could work. So let's start off with that. By the way, there will be a community post up where you can vote for the next one, the next scenario you want to see, so go and check that out after this video and vote if you like voting on stuff. So the American Revolution was an absolutely massive part of history. In 1765 it was basically a colonial revolt, but by 1783 there was an independent United States of America. So why did it all kick off anyway? Well, the whole reason the colonies wanted independence in the first place was because Britain kept taxing them on stuff like tea, hence the Boston Tea Party of 1763. And basically they all came to a head. Britain kept taxing them on all sorts, like glass tea. They weren't having it, then British troops were sent, and it all came to a head at Lexington in 1775, where the first shots of the American Revolution were fired off. So this is where the scenario should begin, in my opinion, around the time of it all kicking off at Lexington in 1775. It should begin in that year with a strong British force in Boston and the surrounding colonies, including Canada, with more sporadic but quickly strengthening American troops around the revolutionary colonies. Now these can be partly made up of Minutemen and also partly made up of a more professional and well-trained army under the commandership. Is commandership as... no, that's not a word. Under the command of George Washington. Now from this starting point, the scenario should run sort of like events did in real life. Now this is a very, very oversimplified take on the historical events of the American Revolutionary War. But the war was basically fought with a mixture of main armies facing off against each other, including the American Continental Army and the British Army, and a series of other campaigns, such as the campaigns in the South, the British waged in Georgia and South Carolina, because the British would keep bringing troops and reinforcements from elsewhere in the world, including, obviously, Europe. They would land in certain places trying to disrupt and destroy the American cause. So as a result of this, beyond the original start location I explained earlier, the scenario should see American and British forces fight campaigns across the 13 colonies. In this scenario, all cities can build troops and other weapons like cannons, pitching the 13 colonies and their supporters against the professional and pretty much world-dominating at this point British army. After the war is over, either the British retain control of the colonies and the American Revolution is a failure, or just as what happened in real life, the US achieved its independence. Now we've gone over the very basics of this scenario, and before we go over some of the more detailed stuff, do make sure that you let me know down in the comments the answer to today's comments question, which is, what scenarios do you want to see me concept next? Because I'm really intrigued. We've got lots of cool ones, but I'd be even more interested if you've got some more as well. Also, make sure you hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with a friend if you want to see more videos like this. So beyond the very basic concept of this scenario, what other things do I want to see feature? So we've got Minutemen and Redcoats. Now again, just like I was talking about with the Spitfires and the ME-109s in the last video, I love seeing iconic units in the game, so it'd be very cool to have these two face off in that specific scenario. The other specific stuff includes supply chains. Now supply chains are something which I want to see more of in Civ 6. They're a massive part of any war in real life. If you have your supply chain cut, then you are in real bother with an army. I think this scenario would be perfect for introducing supply chains. For example, if you're leading a British advance into the 13 colonies, if they can encircle you, if the Americans can encircle your army, cut off your supply chain, your units should lose strength. And I think it would work brilliantly and be a real nice concept in this scenario. The third concept I want to talk about is armories filled with weapons. Now, especially early on in the Civil War, capturing a big armory was brilliant for the Americans because it gave them weapons that their cause just didn't have at the beginning. So this should be a big part. If the Americans can capture British strong points, which have got guns, could be cannons, could be riflemen, or redcoats, sorry, then they should be able to use those resources to build weapons quicker, and this will help America mobilize against the strong British armies. I like this concept as well because it's a little bit different, and I like different stuff in these scenarios. The fourth and final mechanic I want to see added is that of foreign aid, because anybody that knows anything about the American War of Independence, or whatever you want to call it, knows that foreign aid was big, because France and Spain, obviously despising Great Britain and their influence, helped America with resources, supplies, and eventually military support in the form of actual ships and things like that. As a result of this, I think that in Civ 6 there should be a mechanic where America uses diplomatic favour, possibly attained from victories, because as we saw in the Revolutionary War, big victories encourage France and Spain to get involved. If the Americans were winning, France and Spain wanted to be part of that. But America should be able to use this diplomatic favour to try and encourage either or both France and Spain into the war. Now this can work very similar for the British as well. If the British are beating the Americans and with their diplomatic favour, they could encourage France and Spain to stay out of the conflict, obviously boosting their chances of victory as well. Now this should work as a pretty much an individual interface. You can see how much diplomatic favour you have, and constantly throughout the game, it's not only a battle on the battlefield between the American and British forces, but it's also a battle off the battlefield, with supplies from France and Spain being crucial one way or another to the outcome of the war. So that was a very brief look at a possible American Revolution scenario in Civilization 6, but what do you think? What would you like to see in such a scenario? Do let me know down in the comments. Civ 4 had an American Revolution scenario, so maybe have a look at that, and it might be cool to try and bring some things across. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see another one of our videos, check out the Battle of Britain scenario concept down in the box below. Also, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss upcoming videos, and share this with a friend to grow the community. Thank you so much for watching today. My name is Alex, and I will see you in another video soon.